Hello friends, we're about to make that trip to Mississippi. We're leaving now. I just got finished with a project and it is 3 o'clock and we're finally on the road. And it says the estimated time of arrival is basically midnight. But that's not going to happen. It's going to be a little longer than that because we do have to stop for fuel and also stop for eating. And we're traveling up the Lake Charles Bridge, the I-10 bridge. There's some of our casinos down there, Olive Capri. And we got quite a bit of distance to go now. Just finished getting an oil change before I left. It's always funny when you go in there and you know what you want. You just want an oil change. And they get to the door and they say, do you want the recommended oil? And you say yes. And then they say, do you want to fill your tires up to the recommended pressure? And you say yes. And this time they didn't say anything about the oil, the air filter. They said the air filter was clean. Didn't need to change that. And they wanted to know if I wanted to run a cleaner in my vehicle to get out the sludge. And after that they asked me if I wanted to change my radiator fluid. And they said it's about time to change the radiator fluid. And that cost is $89. So I told them no. The only thing they didn't ask me was if I wanted to change my engine or not, being that it had over 200,000 miles on it. I was waiting for that. So anyway, hang in there. We find something that's interesting. We'll put it on this video. Let me drive a little bit and get out this town. And we're back on the Atchafalaya Basin. Almost to Baton Rouge. Still no Bigfoot. Can't see him anywhere. Not in the water. Not on the land. This is going to be a long drive. And we're hungry. We didn't eat lunch. So we got to look for something to munch on once we get to Baton Rouge. So advancing forward a bit. Now we are at the Baton Rouge Bridge. And here we go with the work traffic trying to get home. I hate catching this bridge at this time because it is really slow. So I haven't filmed anything from the last bridge to here because really there's nothing to see. It's just the same old interstate traveling through. Now this is also the way you would take to go to New Orleans, where the road splits from I-12 to I-10. And there's the capital, downtown Baton Rouge. Well, we have made it to Mississippi. It is now 6:52 p.m. I filled my tank up, stretched our legs a little bit, walked around, did a little bit of browsing so we can get the blood flow back in the legs. And now we're back on the road. So if you're wanting to go to, this is the exit for Macomb. So if you're wanting to go to Macomb, you just stay straight on this road. But we got a lot more miles to travel. We're getting back
Turn left on I-55 North.
Getting back on I-55 North for a few more hours. There's not much around this area. There's nothing but interstate and trees. Starting to get a little bit hillier. It's not as flat. So as we go, we start getting into the hills, which is really cool for us because all we know is flatland where we're from. You can kind of see the terrain's changing a little bit. And we're going up a hill now. And then we'll be going down a hill.
Continue on I-55.
And Macomb has 3 different exits you can get off on. And we got off on the first one to go to the Love's truck stop to stretch our legs and get some fuel. I hope everyone's doing well out there. And hang with us while we travel. Need something to keep me awake. We have made it to Grenada, Mississippi. When we used to come through here a lot, we'd stop at a barbecue place called Jack and Ribs. And let me tell you, they have some delicious food. The barbecue's always good. And every time we would come, our time would be right where we could stop and eat for supper. Well, today's not the case. We don't get to do it. But we sure do want some. And I think our next town that we're going to be getting to, our city, is going to be Jackson, Mississippi. That's coming up. And we got some good news today. Thank goodness. We got a call that our chicken coop is being painted. So by early next week, probably, we'll have a chicken coop in our yard. Thank goodness, it's time. So excited to get that thing set up and get all the things done that we need to where we get these little chicks in there so they can have their forever home. And we are passing the Nissan manufacturing plant in Canton, Mississippi. This place is huge. Just look at the building, how big it is. Look at all the exhaust fans on the top. Everywhere. This building goes on and on and on. That's Nissan Parkway. Is the drive or walk. There's a warehouse. We have made it to our motel room. Definitely beat. It is now 12:30. We are in a room. We finished our sanitizing of the room because I'm just taking no chances. You know, Holiday Inn Express and Suites, they actually they follow the COVID procedure, but you never can be too sure. So we've gone and we've Lysoled down every single thing that's in this room. We sprayed it down to where if we touch it, it was disinfected. I also got the wipes as well. I even sprayed down my card. Our beds are done. We are ready to hit the bed. Really couldn't get to show you much on the way up here because it was getting dark. So tomorrow, once I get off of work and the travel back, maybe we can stop at a few places on our way home and kind of show you a few things. And good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great start of the Friday. We are actually in Iuka, Mississippi. We drove until about 12:10 last night, and then we're finally here. Went to bed, and now it's morning. Yeah, yesterday was one of those days that was pretty tough. We woke up early that morning, about 5 o'clock. We got on a job that was actually in Beaumont, Texas, and stayed there for quite a while, till about 2. I got home at 3, packed the bags, we left, and I was actually, I think it was 3, or we might have left my home at 3. And then I arrived here at about 12:20 last night. Yeah, it was a big trip, but this job had to get done today. And then when we're finished, then we're just gonna drive home. We're not gonna take another motel. We're just gonna get home. Man, these people got some pretty flowers. Pretty flowers down there. So the motel is really not that full of people. Parking lots are basically empty. It was like that when we got here last night. Their breakfast is not the same because normally Holiday Inn Express and Suites serves a hot breakfast. due to the COVID, that's changed to some kind of little packed item that they have that's already prepared, and you can drink coffee. So we're not gonna eat here. We got all our stuff gathered up. Now it's time for me to go to work so we can start driving home. And from Iuka, Mississippi, I want to wish everyone of you guys well, and hang in there with us. We'll show some more later. Alright guys, so we are heading home, and we are on the Natchez Trace Parkway again. We came this way, but we didn't get to see it last night, any of the pretty green, because it was dark. So every so often there's these little areas you can stop and check out, like a history marker. And this is the Monroe Mission Station. Goes down there, and then we got a little bench you can sit and eat if you want to. A little picnic area. This is Davis Lake Recreation Area, 1 mile. Stopping at a little rest area called Witch Dance. We seen this coming through the sign. We didn't want to turn in complete darkness because it said Witch Dance. And it's the rest area.
Turn right on Natchez Trace Parkway, then take the first right.
Witch Dance. The very name conjures visions of eerie midnight swirling black capes and brooms stacked against a nearby tree. The old folks say the witches once gathered here to dance, and that wherever their feet touched the ground, the grass withered and died, never to grow again. Impossible? Maybe so. But look around, look for a hidden spot where no grass grows. From the United States Department of Interior and National Park Service. How cool. They got a little bridge you can walk down. Kind of like a little hiking trail. A little picnic area. Oh, this is just a little picnic area that you can go and get up under the trees. That's really cool. Birds are singing. Love to hear birds sing. Yeah. This is it. This is off the do like the bridge. Indian mounds are a half a mile from here. There's a historical point. This is the Tom Tombigby National Forest. That's what that sign just said. Bynum Mounds. And there's the mounds, guys. You see them back there? There's a button you can push. I don't know if this does anything.
You are standing on the site of an Indian village, long since deserted. The only visible remains are the mounds of earth in the field before you. If you could have been here some 1,500 years ago, you would have found this a busy place. The air filled with a babble of children, the admonitions of mothers, and the many other sounds of daily life. The scene might have been somewhat like that in this painting. The people are busy tending their small patches of corn and beans. They depended heavily on their harvest, for a poor one meant a long, hungry winter. They supplemented the products of their fields with food obtained from the nearby forest. Hunters, when fortunate, returned with deer, opossum, or other animals. Honey locust pods, hickory nuts, and acorns were gathered and eaten, or stored away against lean times. The Indians were out of doors much of the time, cooking, making tools and utensils, and working at their everyday household tasks. During summer, a simple lean-to provided shade on hot afternoons, also shelter from occasional rains. When nights grew cold, they moved into snug houses built of poles and interwoven branches, plastered with mud, to provide protection against the weather. The structure in the left background of the painting is a charnel house under construction. After its completion, the bodies of the dead were burned in a small pit beneath the pole frame. Sometimes the bodies were first exposed to the weather for a time, and only the bones brought to be cremated. After a time, the whole structure itself was burned. Then the remains of cremations, and also bodies which had not been burned, were laid in the ashes. After placing many tools and ornaments with the burials, the Indians mounded the area with earth. When it was finished, it resembled the completed mound at the right. In time, the Indians moved elsewhere and abandoned this town. It lay undisturbed for many centuries until the early 1800s, when another group, the Chickasaw, came. How long they stayed is unknown, perhaps just long enough to bury some of their dead in the nearby fields. The latest chapter of the village's history was written in the late 1940s, when archaeologists of the National Park Service excavated the mounds and laid bare the remains of the houses. If you would like to learn about what they uncovered and more about the Indians who lived here, we invite you to view the exhibits in this shelter.
They found polished greenstones, smooth round stones with a center hole for competitive games. Both men and women wore copper ear spools that reflected their status. How cool. Well, let's go take a walk. Gotta walk by them at least. There they are, guys. They're the Indian mounds, where they would cremate the Indian bodies that would die, and they would build mounds. Right here. And right here. feel like I'm being watched. Look how big this cross is. Hey everybody. So huge. And it lights up at night. And now we're into the town of Winona. And do you remember that cross I showed you earlier? There it is again. There's another one. They're all over. We almost made it all the way home without a traffic stop. We've been sitting here for about 15 minutes. We're probably about 30 minutes from our exit. And traffic's barely moving. 6-car pileup is what they're saying on the CB radio, or 5-car pileup. I think it's a 5-car pileup. That's our sheriff's department. Jeff Davis Parish. Another Louisiana State Police. It looks like a wrecker here. Already getting everything picked up and cleaned up. There's 2 vehicles. Oh, there's a 3rd vehicle on another wrecker. So that's 3 vehicles for sure.
All clear.
Maybe now I can get home, so let me turn this thing off. Look at all of the lights. This is the Lake Charles Bridge, and this is the West Lake side. These are all our refineries. Nothing but lights. Finally made it back home. I hope everyone has a great weekend. I hope I get this video up before the weekend's over. And I hope y'all all stay safe, stay well. Stay at home if you can. And don't forget to prepare for the unknown. We'll talk to you soon.